Hi! Welcome in, welcome to the stream. How's it going? How's everybody doing today? I just realized I didn't have my filters on because I turned them off for the karaoke last night, so I fixed them. But hi, welcome in, welcome in. How's everybody doing? If you don't know me yet, my name is Lex, and my dogs bark a lot. I'm very sorry. What was I saying? My name is Lex, and I am a comfy, chaotic witch VTuber. And today we are trying something a little bit different. This is technically something I have done before once at my 18-hour stream. Sorry, I was trying to remember how long the stream was. I don't even remember. That's how tired I was at the end of it. But technically this is something I have done once during my 18-hour stream because I thought it would be super fun to read a bedtime story. And I like doing that, so I decided that we are going to read another book on stream. And I have chosen Kiki's Delivery Service. Eepy, but doing good. That's good. That's good. Hang on, let me just take a little sip of my coffee real quick. It's hazelnut today. So yes, we are reading Kiki's Delivery Service, which is the book that inspired the Ghibli film of the same name. And it just so happens to be my favorite Ghibli film ever. And we really should watch it sometime. I think that would be a really fun movie night. Yes. I don't think I would do a community point goal for it. I think honestly we could just watch it some week. I want to watch it. Yes. So I am very, very excited to get into the story. But I figured that I should probably mention very quickly here that I am still sick. I'm going to do my best to do funny voices because that's just what I do. But since I am kind of sick, they may be slightly lower in quality, and I don't know if I'll be able to keep up the voices the full time. But I'm excited regardless, and we are going to read probably the first few chapters, maybe 3 or 4 of them. I'm not sure. I guess we'll see when we get there. It's not the longest book, but there's like no chance we'll get through it in one stream. So I guess we will figure it out. So I guess we get started. This feels kind of weird because I don't like have to switch screens or anything. Normally I would switch screens like if we're playing a game, but unfortunately I cannot do that today. Normally I would, but let me just take a sip of my coffee. I forgot what I was gonna say there. Sorry about that. I'm like, what was I saying? Right, that's what I was gonna say before I kind of trailed off. I was originally going to borrow a copy from my local library, but I got sick. So I wasn't able to pick up a copy in person, and we are reading an ebook instead. Not that different. The main difference, I think, is that you won't be able to hear those delicious page-turning noises that I had intended. But I guess that's okay. So yeah, I guess we get started. This is so exciting. Okay. Kiki's Delivery Service by Eiko Kadono. And there's a little illustration of Kiki on her broom and Gigi. This is so cute. I know you can't see it, but I'll describe all the illustrations for you because there are a few. I very briefly kind of skimmed it. Okay. Kiki's Delivery Service by Eiko Kadono. I already said that. I just read it out loud because, you know, we're reading. And there is a note from the author at the beginning of the story. It's not technically part of the story, but I read it earlier, and it's very sweet, so I thought I would read it for you all anyway. The Secret of the Magic, a note from the author. Kiki's Delivery Service was inspired by one of my daughter's drawings. It was a picture of a witch flying through the sky, listening to a radio. Musical notes danced around her. It reminded me of photos of New York City from a bird's eye view that I'd seen in Life, an American magazine. They were beautiful images, and I felt there was a story there. If I wrote about a witch like the one my daughter drew, I could see the world through the eyes of a bird. I knew I would fly as an author because writing fiction made me feel as though I had wings. I chose to make the protagonist of we gotta warm up here a little bit before we read the rest of this. Blah 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 blah. Mommy made me mash my M&Ms. Okay, sorry. I chose to make the protagonist witch a 12-year-old, just like my daughter at the time. That's how Kiki's delivery service got its start. This is so sweet, and I messed it up. It's so sweet though, I love it. I decided one thing right from the beginning. Kiki's sole power would be flying through the sky on her broom. With only one type of magic, Kiki would need to use her brain to solve problems. Overcoming conflicts would help her grow, add some ups and downs to the story, and make her journey more interesting. This is so nice. Kiki's magic is as close to normal as possible. It's everyday magic. She is a witch, but she's also a perfectly ordinary girl. I lost my place. I looked away for 1 second. Sorry, I've never done one of these before, so it's like... She has the same worries, disappointments, and joys as anyone else. So I knew readers around her age would relate to her. And as I continued writing Kiki's story, I realized that even if you can't fly, you have your own unique power that is equally important. As I wrote and revised, I discovered that I loved writing. As long as I created stories, I could live an exciting life with new discoveries every day. And I decided that, if nothing else, I would continue writing as long as I live. I'll never forget the peace of mind I felt at that moment. I sensed the magic inside myself. Oh, that's so nice. I've come to believe that everyone has some type of magic inside them. If a person can find their magic and lovingly cultivate it, they'll truly feel alive every day. There's magic inside each and every one of you too. I believe that. That was so nice! So that was the note from the author. Hi, welcome in. No, this isn't an ASMR stream. I'm just reading. I'd like to do an ASMR stream someday. Let me take a sip of my coffee. And then there's an illustration of the town that Kiki lives in. Lots of buildings, some birds in the sky, surrounded by mountains and lots of trees. Feels kind of weird describing the pictures to you, but I can't really show you. Okay, so this is chapter 1, the beginning of the story. I think it's chapter 1. We'll call it that. Once there was a little town sandwiched between a deep forest and gentle grassy hills. See, that's what I just described in the picture. The town was built on an easy southward slope. Its roofs the color of dark slices of toast all in a row. Oh, that's such a nice description. Sorry, I really appreciate this stuff because I used to want to be a writer. Clustered in the center of town near the train station were the town hall, the police station, the fire station, and the school. It was a normal town, one you could find anywhere. But if you paid close attention, you'd find things you wouldn't usually see. For instance, silver bells hung from the tops of tall trees. Even when it wasn't storming, these bells sometimes made a racket with their ringing. Then the townspeople would turn to each other and smile, saying, "Little Kiki must have gotten caught again." Is Kiki a bit of a troublemaker? But how could someone so little ring the bells in the treetops? Well, if you look to the east and peeked into Kiki's home, you'd find the answer. On a gate pillar facing the road hung a sign that read "Sneeze Medicine." I could really use some sneeze medicine right now. I'm sick. That would be so good. Sorry, I'll reread the sentence. On a gate pillar facing the road hung a sign that read "Sneeze Medicine," right next to a big green gate that sat wide open. Beyond the gate was a large garden and a single-story house. The garden grew herbs in neat rows with broad leaves and pointy leaves, all different kinds, and a pungent scent filled the area. The smell continued into the house and was strongest around the copper pot in the kitchen. A potion, mayhaps? From there, you'd have a perfect view of the front living room wall. Instead of paintings or family photographs, as you would expect, 2 brooms made of bundled branches hung there, a big one and a little one. And from the living room, you could hear the family's voices as they gathered for tea. Am I gonna get to do some voices now? This is so exciting. "Kiki, when are you planning to leave?" said a woman's voice full of disapproval. "I think it's about time you let us know. You can't keep putting it off like this." "That again?" A girl spoke now, somewhat annoyed. "Don't worry, Mom. I'm your daughter after all." "I am a witch. I'm thinking about it."
"How about leaving it up to Kiki, dear?" a calm man interjected. "Until she decides for herself, you can prod all you want, but it won't make a difference."
"Yes, you might be right." The woman's voice rose slightly. I can speak. "I'm just anxious. I feel responsible, you know?" In this house lived a family of witches. Well, Kokiri the mother came from a long line of witches, and Okino the father was human. As a folklorist, he studied legends and tales about spirits and magic. Kiki was their only child, soon to turn 13. The 3 were talking over tea about Kiki's coming-of-age day. When daughters of witches and humans reached the age of 10, they decided whether to follow tradition and live as witches themselves. If a girl picked this path, she promptly learned her mother's magic and chose a full moon night of her 13th year as her coming-of-age day. For a young witch, this meant leaving her parents' house and moving on to live on her own in a town or village in need of magic. How would a town be in need of magic? Of course, finding a witchless town on her own is a difficult thing for a little girl to do. But over the years, witches' powers had grown weaker and their numbers had dropped. Such important tradition helped them survive, as well as share the existence of witches with as many towns, villages, and people as possible. At age 10, Kiki had decided to become a witch and learn Kokiri's magic right away. Kokiri had 2 magic abilities. The first was growing herbs to make sneeze medicine, and the second was flying through the sky on a broom. Kiki flies through the sky on a broom. Let me take a little sip of my coffee. Seems like a good spot to hydrate. Okay. Sorry about that. Kiki quickly got the hang of flying, but as she grew older, she often found herself distracted by all sorts of things. For example, the big pimples that started appearing on the sides of her nose, or deciding which dress she should wear to her friend's birthday party. Whenever that happened, her broom would suddenly start to fail. Sorry. One time she was so busy thinking about the scratchy new underwear she was wearing that she ran into a power line. Oh my gosh. Yikes. Her broom broke into pieces and Kiki herself ended up with bumps on her nose and both kneecaps. Soon after, Kokiri tied bells to the tall trees of the forest. If Kiki was lost in thought and flying too low, her feet would ring the bells. And the sound would bring her back to reality. Fortunately, they were ringing much less than they used to. This is funny. Meanwhile, there was the sneeze medicine making, but Kiki didn't seem to be cut out for it. She was impatient and found it difficult to grow the herbs. Finally chop the leaves and roots and slowly simmer them. Will another type of magic disappear? Kokiri lamented. In the olden days, witches could use all sorts of magic, but over the years, one type after another disappeared, until even a genuine witch like Kokiri was left with only 2 abilities. Now her daughter hated one of them, so it was no wonder she was upset. But it feels so much better to fly through the sky than stir a pot. Kiki didn't see what the issue was. At these times, Okino would try to cheer Kokiri up.
Well, we can't force it. Maybe someday lost magic will be relearned. Plus, she has her black cat, doesn't she?
Gigi! Witches have long been accompanied by black cats. One could say that's another type of magic too. When a witch has a baby girl, she searches for a black cat born around the same time and raises them together. As they grow, the cat and the girl learn to speak to each other in their own language. Kokiri used to have a cat named Meme, and Kiki had one as well. A little black cat named Gigi! I love Gigi! By the time the girl came of age, the cat would be a precious companion, and someone to turn to during good times and bad. Eventually, the girl would grow up and find a new companion to take the place of her cat. Cat would also find its own partner, and from then on, the pair would live separately. Wait. Are Kiki and Gigi gonna separate? That's not what happened in the movie. Oh, that would be so sad. I hope that's not how the book ends. Okay. Chapter 2. That was a short chapter. Are these really chapters or just little segments? I don't know. It is a children's book, so let me hydrate a little bit before we read the second chapter. Okay. Chapter 2, Kiki comes of age. After tea, Kokiri and Okino soon went out to run errands, while Kiki and Gigi sat dreamily at the garden's edge. I guess I should leave soon, Kiki said. You should. You're not going to decide you don't want to be a witch this late in the game, are you? Gigi asked, looking up at her. That's a silly Gigi voice, but, you know. Oh, of course not. Then the memory and thrill of her first time flying on a broom came rushing back. For most of her life, Kiki was brought up more or less like any normal girl. She knew that her mother was a witch, and that she would have to decide for herself one day whether she wanted to be one too. Still, she never gave the decision serious thought. But a little while after she turned 10, she heard a friend of hers say, I'm going to follow in my mom's footsteps and become a hairdresser. Kiki had a vague sense that Kokiri wanted her to follow in her footsteps, but she didn't wish to become a witch simply because of her mother. I'm going to be whatever I want, Kiki thought. I'm going to decide for myself. One day, Kokiri fashioned her daughter a little broom and said, Want to try flying? Me? I can fly? You're the daughter of a witch, so I should think so. She could tell her mother was trying to lure her into taking up the family tradition. But it was a rare chance, so she agreed to learn the basics. Following Kokiri, she shyly mounted her broom and kicked off the ground. This is so exciting. Kiki's first time flying. We're getting a lot more backstory, which, you know, obviously there's a lot of room for it in a novel versus a movie. So, this is so nice. Okay. Instantly, her body grew light. She was floating. Yes. I'm flying! She shouted in spite of herself. She was only about 10 feet above the rooftop, but it felt incredible. The sky even seemed a little bluer, and on top of that, a curiosity welled up inside her, lifting both her heart and body. I want to go higher. And on top of that... Oh, I read the same line. I wonder what I'll be able to see. What's it like up there? I need to know more. It was love at first flight. So, of course, she decided to become a witch. It's in your blood, Kokiri said with delight, but Kiki told herself. No, it's not just that. I decided for myself. Suddenly, Kiki jumped up from the grass. Hey Gigi, let's go check out my project. Just for a minute since Mom isn't here. She jerked her chin toward the shed in the corner of the garden. I can't read, apparently.
Why are you keeping it such a secret from Kokiri anyway? Gigi moaned.
Because she makes such a big deal out of anything to do with coming of age, and she always has to have her say, which makes everything more complicated than it needs to be.
Well, I understand that. Anyhow, you need to make sure it gets lots of sun so it can properly dry out.
Only a little.
Okay, but don't bring it to bed again. If you sleep with it, it'll get moldy like last time.
I know. I need you to help me out, though. Pretty soon, it'll be just us two. Hi, Jeffrey. Welcome in.
You love mold.
Mold is so Jeffcore. Welcome in, Jeff. How are you? Okay. As she spoke, she waded deftly through the waist-high herbs and angled her body into the space between the shed and the fence. Then she let out a happy yelp. Look! A long, thin broom hung from the eaves of the shed. It gleamed in the westering sun. If it's this beautiful, I think it'll be okay.
Yeah, it seems like the drying process went well this time.
Gigi looked up at her wide-eyed.
Hey, Kiki, why don't you try flying? The weather's nice.
I can't do that. Kiki shook her head. I'm not using it until the day I leave. It'll be here soon. I want everything to be brand new. My clothes, my shoes, and my room too. I want to be reborn. I'm sure Mom will say.
You're from a long line of witches, so you need to value the old.
But I'm me. I'm a new witch. One time I had a moldy strawberry and I was paranoid my books would have mold because it's reds. Ew, Jeffrey! Oh no.
So, how am I supposed to make myself new?
Gigi pouted, his whiskers bristling. You're fine. I'll brush your fur till it shines. You'll be all fresh. Gigi sniffled.
Fresh cat, don't talk about it like you're going to cook me. You're not the only one coming of age, you know.
You're right. I'm sorry. Kiki held back a laugh and looked into Gigi's eyes. I wonder how it'll feel to leave.
I bet you'll cry.
No, I won't. Hi, welcome in. Welcome in. How's it going? How are things? Seems like we're ready, so we can leave pretty much any time. Want to make it the next night with the full moon?
The next one?
In 5 more days. Doesn't it feel good to do something right when you decide? Hello, this is the first time I've met you. You have a pleasant voice, but unfortunately I don't understand anything because I don't know English. Well, thank you so much for stopping by. Oh my gosh, this is so sweet. That's so nice. Put on the translator. No, I don't think I can do that. Okay, where were we? This is going to be so much drama as usual. I'll tell Mom and Dad tonight. I wonder what kind of town we'll end up in, Gigi. Kiki looked into the distance with a new grown-up gleam in her eye. I don't know. I'm a bit worried, to be honest, since you're so quick with your decisions. Oh, I'm not worried at all. We can worry about things once they happen. Right now, I'm excited. It's like opening a present, she said breathlessly and poked the broom. It swung back and forth as if it were nodding to her. After dinner that evening, Kiki stood with Gigi before Kokiri and Okino. You don't need to worry. I've decided when I'm going. Kokiri leaped out of her chair. Well, really? When will it be? The next night with the full moon. Kokiri ran her eyes over the calendar on the wall, bewildered. That's only 5 days away. You should wait until the next one. Pleasant and beautiful voice. Thank you. Thank you. That's so sweet. Where were we? I lost my place. Kiki frowned and scrunched her shoulders. See, there you go again. You get mad if I dilly-dally, but then you complain when I actually decide. Oh, sorry about the dogs. So sorry about all that noise. Hopefully it's not too distracting. I think they've quieted down. Are we good? I think we are.
She's right, dear. It's not quite fair,
said Okino.
Sure, but there's so much to get ready. It's a lot of work for a mother, too.
Flustered, Kokiri turned red. Kiki leaned into her face, shook her hips, and sang, Believe in your daughter. Believe I'm already ready. Right, Gigi? Hi. Welcome in. How's it going? How are things? Welcome, welcome. He twitched his tail in reply. What? Kokiri's jaw dropped and she lowered her eyes.
What do you mean you're ready? What did you do?
I made a new broom. Gigi helped. Hold on, I'll go get it. Kiki opened the door and raced outside. Here it is. She was back in no time, showing Kokiri and Okino the broom she'd hidden in the shed. Oh boy.
Oh, nicely done, Okino smiled.
I soaked willow branches in the river and then left them in the sun. I did a good job, right, Mom? Kiki swung the broom to show it off. Kokiri slowly shook her head. I could try to translate myself. Thank you. Thank you for being here anyway. I lost my spot. Hang on.
It's a beautiful broom, but you can't use it.
Why not? I don't want to use that little broom I've had until now. Flying is the only magic thing I can do, so I at least want to fly on a nice new broom.
If flying is the only magic thing you can do, doesn't that make your broom that much more important? What will you do if you have trouble flying on something you've never ridden before? Your start is critical. Coming of age isn't so easy.
My dog keeps barking. Kokiri shook her head again and continued.
We can only give you a little money. Enough to eat for a year if you really keep your expenses down. After that, a witch has to survive on her magic. During the year, you need to figure out how to make a living. Like how I prove myself useful to the townspeople by making medicine.
That is very useful.
Go with my broom. It's broken in and you already know how to fly with it.
Aww. I don't want to. It's all
dirty and black, like it's been used to clean a chimney. And the handle is so thick and heavy. It's clunky, don't you think, Gigi? Gigi watched from near her feet and let out an exaggerated purr. See? Gigi agrees with me. He says the black cat riding the broom will get mistaken for a rain cloud. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Thank you. But on a willow broom, he'll look like a prince in a glass carriage. I don't know what to do with the two of you, Kokiri exclaimed. You're still a child, aren't you? Brooms aren't toys, you know. At some point, my broom will get too old, then you can use whatever you like. By then, I'm sure you'll be a full-fledged witch. Kokiri suddenly closed her eyes as if she was trying to think of something. Kiki pouted and tapped the broom on the floor. But what about the broom I made? I'll use it instead. No problem with that, is there? Kiki glanced at her broom for a few moments, but then looked up and said, Fine, but let me pick my dress. I saw a pretty one in a shop on Main Street with a floral pattern. If I wear that, I'll look like a flying flower. Why would she want to look like a flower? You know what? I want to look like a flower too. That would be fun. That made Kiki sulk even more. Oh, I skipped something. Hi, welcome in. Welcome in. How have you been? Okay, I think I found my place. I'm sorry, but you can't do that either. Kokiri had a serious expression on her face again. These days, witches don't have to wear a pointy hat and a long cape, but the color of our clothes has always been the blackest black. That can't be changed. That made Kiki sulk even more. It's so old-fashioned. I'm sorry, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. I'm so sorry. Well, of course it's old-fashioned. We come from old witch blood. Besides, black never goes out of style. Leave it to me. I'll make one in a hurry. This old blood thing again. Kiki mumbled, pouting. Kiki, don't get too hung up on appearances. It's your heart that's important. Oh, that's such a nice line. You have a friend who knows some Russian? Oh, that's nice. I think I'd be embarrassed to get it wrong. I don't think I'd be able to pronounce it correctly. Mom, I know that. I'll handle my heart. No one can see that, though. Kiki turned her resigned face to Okino. Dad, you'll give me a radio, won't you? I want to listen to music while I fly. I'd really like a red radio. All right, got it. He nodded with a smile. Kokiri smiled, then abruptly turned to her daughter. Okay, that's enough for tonight. Good night, Kiki. And with her right hand, she used the hem of her apron to dab her eyes. And that was chapter 2. This book is really good so far. Let me take a little sip of my coffee. A little break between the chapters, if you will. Okay. Chapter 3. Kiki lands in a big city. Every evening, the moon grew bigger and bigger. Until the night it was finally full. Kiki's coming-of-age day had arrived. That evening, when the sun started sinking in the west, Kiki put on the black dress her mother had made for her. She turned this way and that in the mirror, making it a whole production. Gigi by her feet wasn't about to be left out. He peeked in the mirror from the side, then stretched and curled his body. Soon, they were both astride Kokiri's broom, posing in profile. So exciting! Okay, you two, haven't you primped enough? Kokiri called up to them as she bustled around. Have a look at the western sky. There's barely any sunset left. Mom, can you make the skirt just a little shorter? Kiki asked, hiking it up and standing on her tiptoes. Why? It looks good on you. I think it would be cuter if you could actually see my feet. This way is much more graceful. It's better to look mild-mannered. Of course, some people complain about witches no matter what you do. Now then, here's your lunch. Kokiri patted Kiki's shoulder and set a little bundle down next to her. I used herbs, so it won't go bad as fast. Don't eat it all in one place. I remember my mom did a great job of making my coming-of-age lunch. She cast some spell in the herbs in the bread that kept it from going bad or even stale. It's a shame we don't know how to do that anymore. Aww. Seems like the kind of thing that would be easy to pass on, though. Okino chimed in, coming from his study with a book in hand. I wonder why it disappeared. Maybe that's just the nature of magic. It's strange that I'm a witch and even I don't know. Some say it's because there's no such thing as a completely dark night or perfect silence anymore. If there's a light on, or if there's even a tiny noise, we get distracted and can't get our magic to work. Oh, that's so interesting. Certainly compared to ancient times, it's gotten a lot brighter, Okino said. Nowadays, there's always a light on somewhere. Yes, the world sure has changed. Kokiri nodded. But Kiki, looking in the mirror, had a different idea. You think that's why? Kiki turned around with a dissatisfied frown. I don't think it's the world's fault that magic has disappeared. Maybe people hold themselves back too much. Mom, aren't you always saying that witches must be quiet and modest? I hate the idea of living my life constantly worrying about what people will say. I'm going to do whatever I want. You know a little bit of Russian since your partner knows it fluently? Oh wow. That's awesome. Where was I? Every time I stop to reach out, I lose my place. That's not such a bad problem to have. Oh, that's quite a declaration. Okino's eyes widened dramatically. Listen, Kiki, Kokiri said. In the past, it wasn't just us witches. All sorts of people had mysterious powers, but most regular people connected these gifts to bad things in their head. They believed our powers would bring terrible luck. Oh no! Sorry, I have to adjust. That could be true. Okino nodded thoughtfully. It was! You always heard about how witches made mold grow in fresh milk, but that was simply a way to make special kind of cheese. And now look, today everyone eats that same cheese. As she spoke, Kokiri looked at Kiki with concern. Witches were able to survive in that sort of world because we forged a give-and-take relationship with everyone else. Sometimes we hold back, but we also help each other. I think it was a good thing. Because of this, there are even people like your dad who research witches and fairies to gain a better understanding of us. That's so nice. Was that a compliment? What an honor. Okino jokingly bowed. Oh my goodness, it's pitch dark outside. Kokiri stood up and clapped her hands. The moon will be out soon. We need to hurry up and eat. No more time for these complicated conversations. complicated conversations. That's kind of fun to say. Full moon nights are bright, Okino said, so they should be good for leaving on a journey. But according to my research, the data also shows a 50-50 chance of rain on days witches have come of age. Huh. I mean, it could just rain. That's just the luck of the draw. Tonight seems like it'll be fine. The air is so clear. Kiki, are you really ready to go? Skillfully evading Okino's grumbles, Kokiri began to bustle around the room again. I hope you find somewhere nice to live. Okino looked Kiki in the eye. But Kiki, you can't get impatient and settle without giving your choice proper thought, Kokiri called. I know. All you guys do is worry. It's not as if she's going to another planet, Okino said, trying to cheer both Kokiri and Kiki up. It's just a different town, and after a year you can come back home for a celebratory visit. Kokiri stood before Kiki again with a serious expression. Kiki, I know I'm harping on this, but please choose your town carefully. Think twice about picking one that seems nice just because it's lively or has lots of shops. Big cities are often full of busy people who don't have time to care about anyone else. And when you arrive, don't be shy. Make sure to smile. You have to gain people's trust. I know, Mom. I'll be fine. Don't worry. Kiki nodded repeatedly, and then turned to Okino. Hey, Dad, do you remember when you used to hold me up high? You put your hands under my arms and lift me up and down. Could you do it one more time? She looked down quickly, a little embarrassed. Aw. Sure, Okino replied with extra pep. He put his hands under her arms and tried to lift her. You're heavy. Why do you get so big? Let me try one more time. He staggered a bit, but managed to raise her. I'm up, but it tickles. Kiki squirmed and laughed. Through the living room window, the light of the full moon poured over Mount Green in the east. Just as they had expected. I guess I should get going. Kiki had planned on saying a proper goodbye, but all that came out was that simple line. She slung her bag over her shoulder and grabbed the broom that had been standing next to her. With her other hand, she picked up the red radio her father had bought for her. Then she looked at Gigi, who sat obediently at her feet. Okay, say goodbye. Oh, sorry about the dog. Sorry about the puppies. They're a little extra loud today, I think. I'm not sure why that is. I'm so sorry. I think it's their dinner time. That's probably why. I'm so sorry. Gigi stood and looked up at Okino and Kokiri. Counting on you, Gigi, said Kokiri. As usual, he twitched his tail in reply. Well, Mom, I'll write a letter as soon as I get there. Yes, keep us posted. If it doesn't go well, you can always come home, added Okino. That's not happening, Kiki hurriedly replied. Don't start going easy on her now. Kokiri shot a soft glare at Okino. When Okino opened the door, voices shouting, "Congrats!" came flying in. 10 townspeople were waiting at the gate. Kiki was so surprised that she didn't know what to say. You knew she was leaving tonight? Kokiri asked hoarsely. I'm hoarse. Speaking of, let me hydrate a little bit.
Sorry about that. Where was I? We can't let our little Kiki leave without saying goodbye. And it's something to celebrate. Come back and ring the bells now and then. Bring us stories. Aw, thanks everybody. Kiki finally managed to squeeze that much out, then lifted Gigi to hide her crumpling face. I'm glad the weather's good, Okino said quietly, looking up at the sky. After exchanging goodbye after goodbye, Kiki hung her radio from the front of her broom, sat Gigi on the back, and jumped on. Once the broom was hovering, she turned around. Take care, Mom, she said to Kokiri from a few feet above. If she flew any closer, she knew they would both end up crying. Make sure you look where you're going, Kokiri's usual scolding voice sounded after her, followed by a burst of laughter from the townspeople. This is so nice. Kiki was relieved that her mom remained the same, even on this special occasion. After one final goodbye, she rocketed into the air. Gradually, everyone's waving hands below grew harder to see, and all the lights of the town twinkled like a starry night, turned upside down. The full moon hung in the sky, watching over Kiki. Eventually, even the lights of the town faded, and all she could see below were mountains shaped like the dark backs of animals. That's an interesting description. Hurry up and decide which way we're going. Gigi prodded behind her. Kiki looked in all four directions, flustered. South. I want to go south. I heard that if you keep going south, you'll eventually reach the sea. And I want to see the sea at least once. Is that alright with you? Am I allowed to say no? Please don't, she yelled and shook the broom a bit. Then why ask me at all? Gigi huffed. Anyway, I'm begging you not to mess this up. We're looking for a town, not the sea, remember? Yes, I understand. Okay, south. South. She looked here and there and then sighed with relief. Got it! It's this way, so the moon is on my left, so there's no mistake. With a whistle, she accelerated, flying faster and faster. The wind blowing past her grew stronger, and the bristles of her broom sounded like a running river. Now and then she saw a scattering of lights between the dark mountains. Sometimes she came upon gray-colored fields, but that didn't happen very often. Mostly it was mountain after mountain. When there ever is a really interesting description in translation, it always makes me wonder how it was supposed to be in the original text. Yeah. I wonder. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to cut this one short. There's actually been a little interruption, so we unfortunately have to cut this stream a little short. I was really hoping to get through a lot more of it today, but unfortunately that's not the case. So I'm just going to have to thank you for coming to the stream. I know it was a little bit of a shorter one, but I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun reading the book, seeing some of the differences, and getting to do the silly voices of the characters. Thank you so much for being here. It really genuinely does mean the world to me, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a great rest of your day, night, etc. And tomorrow, I'm not entirely sure what we're doing tomorrow, but I have lots of fun ideas for next week. So I will update you tomorrow morning with our schedule. But whatever we do, I'm sure it will be at our usual time, 3 p.m. EST. And I hope to see you there. Okay. Bye!